This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Gwilda Wiyaka's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the Science of Magic or endorsed in any manner by Gwilda Wiyaka, Relmar McConnell Media Company, its affiliated networks, stations, or employees. Welcome to the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, a program dedicated to uncovering the unified nature of reality and humanity's ever-evolving place as truly galactic beings. For more information on the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit us online at www.thescienceofmagic.net.
Welcome to the Science of Magic, a program combining the science and magic of today's leading topics to co-create new solutions and promote evolutionary thinking. We're coming to you through the leader in responsible paranormal and alternative science programming, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, and can also be found on our website, thescienceofmagic.net. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. This hour we'll be exploring wheels of light. Throughout years of shamanic studies, I've run across many different renditions of the chakra system. One little-known shamanic concept is the existence of energy or power centers of the body. In some Celtic shamanic traditions, this was referred to as the three cauldrons of the soul. One is located in the head, one in the heart, and one in the belly. While everyone has the potential of having these power centers, it's believed that the cauldrons are upside down and unable to hold power until the practitioner undergoes an initiation of personal processing. This processing involves embracing the joy and sorrow sine wave. In other words, it's necessary to welcome both joy and sorrow in equal measure, neither clinging to joy nor avoiding sorrow, while moving through the damage one has sustained in their lifetime. Gratitude in all things is also a necessary part of the process. My Lakota teacher alluded to these shamanic power centers, though he framed it somewhat differently. He told me that earth light came into the body from the bottom and starlight or heavenly light through the crown. He spoke of wheels or vortices located in the body that prismed the dark light and light into various colors, having different divinations of power. It was through clearing and activating these vortices that light could then be channeled to and wielded through the shamanic power centers, one in the head, one in the heart, and one in the belly. Part of an extensive and very grueling initiation was to access and heal the restrictions in my personal wheels. It involved very deep introspection and personal processing. It's also ongoing, a practice maintained throughout a practitioner's lifetime as long as they continue to work in the shamanic way. There are checks and balances inherent in the procedure. The more processed a person becomes, the more light available to channel into the power centers and the more power at their disposal. At the same time, the more processed a person becomes, the more pure of heart and less likely to misuse power. My teacher told me that light is the source of all information, of enlightenment. It's the link between spirit and the material world. Light is the vehicle that shamans use to access spiritual realms. It's also the power they wield to effect change in the physical world. He was very specific about two forms of light, one from the earth, which he considered feminine, and one from the heavens, which he taught was masculine. Both forms of light had to be embraced in equal measure for the power to be healthy and balanced, or for shamanic information to be accurate. He taught that each vortice spins both clockwise and counterclockwise. Starlight is channeled through the clockwise spin, while earthlight comes through the counterclockwise. A devout Christian, he used biblical references in regarding the vortices. One related to wheels within wheels, the other was in reference to the fall. He explained the fall occurred when our planet moved through a very dark portion of the galaxy, where many of the star beings could not reach us. The Earth went to sleep, as the full spectrum of light was no longer available. He taught that we're now coming back into a fuller spectrum light. The Earth is reawakening, but the vortices or wheels of the people have gone to sleep and must be cleared and awakened also. He said the most important thing I could do was to clear and wake up my own vortices so that the planet, balanced Earth light and starlight, had a way into the human world in order to awaken others. Our guest this hour is co-author of Awakening the Chakras, the 7 Energy Centers in Daily Life, Victor Daniels. He and Kooch Daniels also co-authored Matrix Meditations and other books. Victor received his Ph.D. in psychology from UCLA and taught for more than 40 years at Sonoma University. After this commercial break, I'll introduce Victor, and together we'll explore the mysterious wheels of light from yet another perspective. So don't go away. You're listening to The Science of Magic, thescienceofmagic.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created mnemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere, Florida. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine such as hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining rooms can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you visit, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic downtown Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, Old Florida cuisine at its best.
If you're a seeker, don't miss the inspiring book Shamanic Awakening, Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Cochran's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers throughout the Americas. Sandy's initiations across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt, combined with her knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth, influence her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private readings, sacred international journeys, a meditative CD, and her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate your earth walk and create a deeper connection to yourself. Find this and more at her website, starwalkervisions.com. Welcome back. This is The Science of Magic, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. There are as many renditions, myths, and legends of the chakra systems as there are traditions that carry them. While various stories or descriptions can seem confusing and contradictory, each carries a piece of the puzzle. During these evolutionary times, truth is to be found in unity rather than polarization. With us this hour to explore the topic is co-author of numerous books, including Awakening the Chakras, the 7 Energy Centers in Daily Life, Victor Daniels. His website, consciousnessandculture.com. Victor, thank you so much for joining us on The Science of Magic.
Thank you for having me.
You and your co-author, Kooch Daniels, studied for 2 decades with 2 spiritual teachers whose names you notice I didn't even attempt. Would you pronounce their names for me and tell us a little about them?
Harish Johari was the principal one. I don't know which other one. Sri Amritanandamayi. Yes, of course. She's actually a much better, more widely known spiritual teacher, but didn't emphasize the chakras in the same way that Harish did. So Harish was actually our principal teacher in relation to the chakras and the structure and use of them, but a great deal of the specific information within them came from Amma. People may know Srimati Amritanandamayi as simply Amma. She's often called the Hugging Mother, and she does her darshans with people will come, long lines of people will come to her and lay their head on her breast briefly, and she will offer some comforting words or comforting sounds, and often that can be a profoundly healing experience.
What tradition is it from?
She is from from Kerala. Her native language is Malayalam, not too far from what used to be called Trivandrum, Trivantapuri now, at the very southern tip of India. But she's also from the Sanatan tradition, the classical, I suppose you would say the classical Hindu tradition, but both she and Harish were quite emphatic about their system and their teachings being for people of any faith, be it Christian, Muslim, Taoist, anything. They were not. Neither of them were. Well, I should say with Harish, he was not, and Amma is not, because she's still alive and kicking. They're neither of them spiritual imperialists. They both want to offer what they are able to anyone.
So what exactly is the chakra system?
The chakra system?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It is an identification of energy centers in the body that have something in common with what you were mentioning that you had learned from your Lakota teacher. And the chakras actually it divides divides consciousness into 7 chakras or categories, and they are conceived of as located at different points as centered at different points in the body. The first chakra is the Muladhara, or the lowest chakra. Is called the Muladhara, or the root chakra, and it has to do with security and it's sort of being solidly within yourself and on the earth and with other people. And then the second chakra is often called the passion chakra, the Svadhisthana. Do you think it's worth my mentioning the Hindu names for these things, or the tantric names for them, or just the English terms?
Oh, let's just do English for now, if that's okay.
I'm sorry?
Let's just do English for now, if that's okay.
Okay. The third chakra, and so the passion chakra, the second chakra, has to do with relationships and with the desire for fame, to celebrity. You could think of it as the Hollywood chakra in a sense, as well as the sexual chakra, reproduction, etc. The third chakra has to do with power. Owning and disowning your personal power. The fourth chakra is called the heart chakra. And interesting thing, Harish used to say, for 95% of the people in the world live out their entire lives in the lower 3 chakras. Occasionally they will get a glimpse of one of the higher chakras, will do something that's related to one of the higher chakras, but most people never make it beyond the lower 3 chakras. That is the security, the root chakra, the passion chakra or relationship chakra, and the power chakra. The fourth chakra is the heart chakra, and the profound difference there is that when a person is acting and living from the heart chakra, then that they are interested in the other person's welfare as much as their own. So you and I talking here, instead of my simply emphasizing what I want and my interests, I will be as concerned with your welfare and your interests as you define them. And that's very crucial. That's related to Gestalt therapy in Western psychology, where they talk about boundaries and boundary violations. Am I respecting your boundaries? Am I respecting whom you conceive of yourself to be? Or am I trying to reconstruct you as I want you to be? And it's a truism among couples therapists that if you meet somebody else and they look like good material to you, and you think you can make them over into who you want them to be, the relationship is not likely to work out very well.
Yeah, that's the relationship problems that we deal with, right? So,
you essentially you take another person as they are, and then they work out things as the people that you are. You don't think that you're going to transform them into someone else. And for me personally, that's what I Well, let me go on just very briefly. The fifth chakra is called the throat chakra, and it has to do with speaking or silence, because there are disciplines of not speaking. There are some of the gurus, I have known a couple of gurus who do not speak. They only write their messages on a chalkboard.
Right.
And
quite a discipline there.
Then the sixth chakra, called the third eye, has to do with intuition, with the ability to see deeply into yourself and into other people. And then finally, there's the crown chakra, or cosmic consciousness, which is in a sense we say that it's beyond words. Actually, we have a considerable number of words about it in the book. But in talking about the sixth and seventh chakras, we have relied to a considerable degree on the best statements of the qualities of those chakras that we can find from people like Sri Aurobindo and Anandamayi and people and Ramakrishna and people who have been generally acknowledged to live in those chakras, and then some people that we ourselves have been friends or that we have interviewed, such as Pilot Baba.
Right.
My own
Victor,
own personal endeavor is to see if I can to try to live most of my life at least in the fourth chakra. But
yes. Do you see us, Victor? Do you see us as being in a time when we have an opportunity to evolve as individuals through the chakra system?
Yes, and what we have done, which is unique in the in this book, classically, people conceive of the chakra system as moving from the sort of life energy is seen as a metaphorical snake or kundalini that you bring up and rise through the various chakras, and that's the way in which people have classically thought about the chakra system, with the caveat that you say, all right, well, Pilot Baba had a nice way of saying it. He used the metaphor. He says, "Which wave are you riding?" That's where you need to work. And by which wave he meant, are you in this particular situation with your own self? Are you driven by power? Are you driven by sex? Are you driven by insecurity?
Victor,
yes.
One concept that I find confusing is it seems like we kind of judge against the lower three chakras and exalt the higher chakras. Isn't it a question of balance?
Yes, it is. And actually, I don't particularly like the designation of lower and higher, but this is the way it's traditionally conceived of, and there are actually several different answers to your question. One of them is the Western Asian philosopher Ken Wilber talks about going deeper rather than going higher.
Yeah,
and
that's much better, isn't it?
Using the metaphor of going into your depths. And it's not really a metaphor. In meditation, that's actually what you do, is you go into your own depths, and that gets rid of the whole I am higher, I am more evolved than you are kind of notion. And
right.
both go ahead.
We have just a couple minutes left in this segment. So briefly, what do you think? Don't you think that it's more a process of going inward into your chakras to clear them rather than evolving as far as higher and lower goes?
Well, what we've done, what Kooch and I have done that is unique is that we have developed a table of qualities for each of the chakras, in which in each of these tables we have divided each chakra into about 10 or 12 subdimensions, and we conceive of each of them as a polarity with one kind of thing. For example, in the power chakra, one end of the polarity might be domination over other people. The other end of the polarity might be inability to feel and express one's own chakra. And so what the task then becomes one of, within the chakra, noticing which of the subdimensions is the one that is where you feel you're drawn to needing to work at the present time.
Got it. We're gonna have to take that promised break. Victor and I will return to our discussion on the other side of this break, so don't go away. We're coming to you through the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Don't miss the other fine shows and hosts on xzbn.net. You're listening to The Science of Magic, your resource for creative solutions in a changing world, thescienceofmagic.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the four corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Gibbs A. Williams, Ph.D., is a practicing psychoanalyst, supervisor, researcher, and author in New York City. Much of his life has been dedicated to understanding nature and the uses of meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. His radical and original non-Jungian, non-mystical, non-magical theory of synchronicities illuminates much of the fog surrounding this challenging and perplexing topic. His ideas and manners are fresh, presented in a style that is both entertaining and highly informative. He is also an expert on crisis intervention, specially focused on violence reduction for the police and citizens, mastering anxiety, frustration, and stress without the use of medication, and effectively preventing and treating heroin addiction. Dr. Williams can be contacted at his email address at gwwilliamsny11@aol.com or visit his website at Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world. Welcome back. This is the Science of Magic, a place where magic and science come together to promote enlightenment. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. We cover what's hot for in-depth exploration of leading-edge subjects from numerous authorities and viewpoints. Join our email family to receive our topic-driven episode collections, thescienceofmagic.net. Our guest this hour is co-author of Awakening the Chakras, The 7 Energy Centers in Daily Life, Victor Daniels. Victor, we were getting into a very interesting subject, and that's the 2 polarities of each chakra. So you have either a weakness or a strength, or I shouldn't say weakness or strength. Would you go into that just a little bit more about how we find balance between the 2 polarities?
Sure. Polarities as opposed to the traditional notion of dualisms, which is the way most people tend to think. Things are either this or that, black or white. But polarities is a spectrum, shades of gray from black at one end to white at the other end. And so, for example, friendly, like in the first chakra, one end of the polarity would be secure or self-sufficient. The other end of the polarity would be needy or insecure. And most people will have a sense of, all right, where is it that they need to, if they take a glance at the chakras, where do they need to work? And so working on the we've provided in this book, we've provided many specific ways of working, specific techniques. So they work on that particular one until they feel like they've got a good balance on it, and then all right, where else? Where next do they need to work?
Okay,
now that might be that they're working on one thing generally, or it might be that they're working on one thing in a specific situation.
This starts to make more sense.
To whatever
Victor?
Else. Yes.
This starts to make more sense to me. In other words, there's not a right or a wrong place to be, doesn't it? Isn't it based on the circumstance? Like, do you need to be more assertive in a particular circumstance, or do you need to sit back a little bit more? So our position in these polarities, do they rightfully change day to day, moment to moment?
Yes, exactly. You've said it well. And there are both one of the insights that comes out of social psychology is that most people tend to see what other people do as a function of the person, whereas actually a great deal of what we do is a function of the situation. So we're looking at both person and situation in regard to wherever we are with the polarities. And there's 2 kinds of balancing. One is there's the balancing along the specific dimensions within a polarity, and then there's the balancing of the energies from the different polarities. So you have someone who there may be some kind of like desire for fame and fortune kind of thing that a person is working with, and then also in relation to that there may be a seeing into other people and some kind of a balance back and forth, and people can bring things bring energies from the higher chakra, the quote higher chakras unquote, higher on the scale to another chakra, so that it's
okay. So if we have, it sounds like flexibility is really important here, and that being the case, what compromises our flexibility and movement in the chakras?
The largest thing that compromises our flexibility is our past conditioning, and an awful lot of that conditioning, like starts off very early in childhood. It can start off as early as birth, when right after an infant is born, when it needs to be picked up and held. If it has a mother who is distracted or busy with other things, who doesn't pick up and hold it, there may be a neediness that comes from that. For most people throughout their childhood, they receive either overt or subtle messages of "don't do that, that's not okay, that's not good." That becomes a complex that gets locked into the personality, and so that's something that a person can work at either through psychotherapy later on or through meditation, and so either ongoing kinds of qualities or specific events. There's what's called one trial learning. A person can... Go ahead.
What can you tell us about chakras and personal power, then?
Well, there's a couple of dimensions of it. Actually, there are numerous dimensions of it, but if you look at the polar ends of it in basic terms, one of the tasks for many people is getting in touch with their own personal power, which means becoming fully who they are rather than trying to define themselves as other people want them to be. And that's very, very crucial for most of the people in the population. They're still trying to be who their friends or parents or others around them want them to be, and discovering their own. We talk in this country, we talk a lot about individualism, but individualism often means meeting the expectations of other people about how you're supposed to be rather than becoming your own self. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is that many people are screwed up in the power chakra in that they're trying to dominate other people rather than show them respect, rather than meet them on a plane of equality. And these attempts at domination are fundamentally unsatisfying to them because they kill a person's own inner spirit. They interfere with the ability to live with other people in community, and so developing the ability to relate in a mutually respectful manner with other people is the other kind of general dimension that's important in the power chakra.
What do the chakras have to do with the auric field?
That is something that I personally would address to my wife or to my co-author. I can't give you a good answer to that.
No problem. So how do you suggest a person start working with opening up to their chakra system?
Well, one way to start working is to say, all right, what am I? There are really two ways. One is you can work on your deficiencies or you can work on your strengths. And a person may, the basic question is, what would I like to do better? How would I like to be more effective? And then when you have the answer to that question, you look at which of the 7 chakras it is that's related to that particular kind of effectiveness, and then look at what subdimension within that, and we have a variety of specific meditations, exercises, like meditative exercises, breathing exercises, interactive exercises, so that you can work with yourself, or you can work in a relational way. And so with each chakra, we have the little sections. The book is really extremely well organized, and so we have the essence of the chakra, we have the bright side, we have the dark side, and then we go into the Vedic traditions of it. This is a dimension that Peter brought in. It's a beautifully illustrated book. Peter is a Dutch artist.
Yes, it's nice to have those visuals to go with this because we're dealing with color and sight and all that. This is starting to sound like the chakra system is a two-way street. So in one sense...
I'm sorry, I missed your last 3 words. The chakra system of...
is a two-way street. In one sense, what we do is reflected in our chakras, but in another sense, the restriction in our chakras affects what we do.
Yes, exactly, and that's where Pilot Baba's comment, which wave are you riding? And their the key is that the chakras can help you become aware of what you are doing right now at this moment, and that's that's a key vision. You so often have people going out trying to do something, trying to accomplish something, be different in some way, without realizing what they're doing right now, and so that's something that the chakra system can. We have specific meditations. We have like a meditation that can be used to notice where you're and what kind of energy is a person manifesting. And this is for you, and it's for you in looking at another person. What kind of energy do you feel yourself manifesting at a given moment? And without asking that question, you might never notice. And what kind of energy do you see another person manifesting at a particular moment? So you find out which wave you're riding and how are you riding it. The analogy of the surfer. Are you up on your board? Are you riding it well? Are you riding it so well that you can turn your energy to working on a different chakra? Or are you about to fall off and you really need to learn how to balance on your surfboard in this particular chakra?
Got it. So if you're working with the chakric system, it sounds kind of mechanized, like we're really focusing on something. Do we have control over it? How are you working with this? I don't get it.
There are two dimensions, in a sense. One dimension is becoming aware of what I or another person is doing at this particular moment. Another dimension is developing alternatives, and that's either concluding that yes, what I'm doing now is exactly what I want to be doing here, or I, for example, sometimes will stop myself in mid-sentence when I realize that I'm saying something that is not quite right, or that doesn't fit the situation, and will go in a different direction. It's also very useful, like how you work with it is there's a series of steps, a series of meditative steps which allow the development of the concentrative faculty, that is the ability to, the central key is witness consciousness, which is very similar to what Buddhists call mindfulness. It's essentially developing the faculty to, in a sense, stand behind yourself and notice what you're doing.
We're going to have to take another break. Victor and I will be back shortly, so don't leave us now. This is The Science of Magic, thescienceofmagic.net, your resource to altruistic professionals of science and the esoteric working to create common ground for the betterment of our world. We're in this together. Your thoughts are very important. If you have any comments or topics of interest to suggest, please email me at info@thescienceofmagic.net.
Broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? I'm Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and on The Secret to Everything, we will merge the practical with open investigation into all realms of the mysterious. We will talk to cutting-edge alternative health practitioners, those who inspire and motivate you in business and life, and of course, we will share stories of the paranormal, conspiracy, and cryptozoology. You will transform because of the frequency I carry, the frequencies my guests carry. Life may never be the same after you listen to this program, for the secret to everything is for you, the listener, for those who desire more in every area of their lives and believe that it can still be found. Listen and discover thesecrettoeverything.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back. This is The Science of Magic, bringing together gifted people of service to the world. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. What's up in your world? Email me at info@thescienceofmagic.net and suggest a topic that's on your mind. You're probably not the only one interested. Our guest this hour is co-author of Awakening the Chakras, the 7 Energy Centers in Daily Life, Victor Daniels. Victor, we were trying to clarify, or at least I was trying to clarify, the difference between psychoanalyzing yourself, psychotherapy, and working with the chakras. How do they differ?
Well, a central way in which they differ is that working with the chakras is usually done as a meditative practice and things that you can do by yourself, whereas psychotherapy of whatever kind is usually done with another person. And my experience out of long experience with both of them is that psychotherapy is usually faster than chakra work. Chakra work depends on various kinds of meditation, but some of the kinds of things that you develop through meditation may be longer lasting, and some of the qualities that you develop are different than some of the ones that come from chakras. Also, I've had the experience of sitting in meditation and focusing on a given chakra, and things will bubble up out of my unconscious that had never come up when going through a therapeutic experience, so that you're likely to become aware of some things in meditation that are different than some that you become aware of in psychotherapy.
So do the two dovetail then? In other words, you're meditating on your chakras and something bubbles up, then you can take it into therapy and work with it there?
Yeah, and sometimes that's a good idea because there are certain kinds of hang-ups that a skilled therapist can help a person with that a person may really not have a handle on what to do with if they're trying to deal with it through meditation. On the other hand, there are certain qualities and abilities to control your own consciousness and to know what's going on in your mind and where you want it to be rather than where it is, that are a kind of thing that are not customarily taught in psychotherapy. So there are unique kinds of capacities that can come out of each of those two experiences. A person who really wants to work on themselves optimally, I would say, is wise to at some point in their life go through a number of psychotherapeutic sessions. And
right.
my own rule of thumb is that if you've been to 6 sessions and you're not finding something good coming out of it, well, that's not the right person for you to be working with.
Got it. So what role does intent have to play? So we're talking about if you want to work on yourself, do you have to set an intent, and what part does that play in it?
There's a word that you're saying that I'm missing. It sounds sort of like chimp. What role does blank have to play?
Okay, intent. I intend something.
Intent. Mm-hmm. Intent. Intent. Well, you're likely to go in the direction that you're trying to go. That's the key. I'd like to shift slightly to a really central element in chakra work, and that's that a crucial aspect of it is working with ego. Like most of us, most people are walking around either thinking that they're not good enough or trying to think that they're better than other people. And the letting go of that, and the ego gets in the way of our being able to perceive reality. It causes us to lie to ourselves in order to think that, to make us think that we're okay because we think that we're not okay. And so we tell ourselves things that aren't so about us or about other people. And so a central aspect of chakra work is to move toward that internal honesty in which we are able to perceive what we are actually doing and how we actually are, rather than telling ourselves something that we're not.
Well, there's a lot of talk about ego. Would you mind defining it as you're referring to it here?
Okay, it's a good question because there are really a number of different forms and kinds of ego. As I have just referred to it, it means the sense of what we think. It's synonymous with self-image. What I think about myself. Other forms of ego, Sigmund Freud's ego was a kind of executive function, effectiveness in working with the world. but the kind of ego that is, and with chakra work, it's a matter of being in tune with oneself in a way that is not trying in any way to think that I'm better than I am, but or worse than I am, but rather real. Ego is it clouds. It's not a thing. It's a function. It's what we say to ourselves. It's when we like tense up in our bodies. It's a whole organism response that essentially allows us to move in a like a relaxed and effective way through the world, or to be trying to, in a sense, be something that we're not, or do something that we're not, or get an unfair advantage over another person.
What can a person expect to experience when they engage in, evolving through chakra access?
One of the things that a person will develop is the ability to know where their consciousness is at a given moment, what it's doing, and if that's where they want to be. For example, you're in a conversation, somebody starts to take it in a different direction than it's going, and usually most people just sort of float along without realizing that they're really even going off the subject. But you notice that, that's going somewhere else. That's not what we were talking about. That's not what I want to be talking about. So the ability to concentrate and to focus your attention is very important. The ability to notice what's going on in your mind is one of the things that come out. The ability to be effective in whichever chakra, whichever dimension you are not as effective in as you would like to be is important. And the ability to... Yeah, go ahead.
We have a few minutes left here. I'd like to address, if most of us are living out of the lower three chakras, isn't it somewhat alienating to expand one's chakric access? Would you mind speaking to that?
Say that last sentence again, as the word expand.
Okay, so if most people in the world are living out of the lower three chakras, isn't it alienating for an individual to expand into the other chakras? How do they relate? Alienating?
Mm-hmm. Not usually. You do get some such situations. For example, a person may be an effective speaker, may be able to use some of the fifth chakra energies, speaking energies effectively. And if they skip the fourth chakra, in which they learn to be compassionate, in which they learn to help other people attain what they need for themselves, then you may get a dictator. You may get someone who is you may get a psychopath, a fascist, who is able to speak very effectively and con people into doing things that they don't want them to. So that's or that are not good for them. So that's one kind of way of skipping it. But if the person goes through the fourth chakra development, in which they truly they in the third chakra they learn to attempt to be of service to other people, to help other people. If they do that focus rather than working on the I'm going to get what I want regardless of what happens to you, and in the fourth chakra move into really developing great kindness and compassion toward other people, so that others feel that and are assisted by that. Then they move into the fifth chakra with that fourth chakra capacity and tend to be very, very valuable, important. If it's sixth chakra, one of the problems that you get there is that people develop powers, abilities to do unusual things.
Victor, time flies, and I'm afraid we're out of it. I can't thank you enough for being with us on The Science of Magic.
Well, thank you very much, and
right.
I'm sorry that
no problems.
my
We've
answers...
got to go now. That's no problem. Our guest this hour has been co-author of Awakening the Chakras, the 7 Energy Centers of Daily Life, Victor Daniels. His website, consciousnessandculture.com. This has been The Science of Magic. For in-depth exploration of leading-edge subjects from numerous authorities and viewpoints, join our email family to receive our topic-driven episode collections, thescienceofmagic.net. Until next time, dear ones, may you be blessed with knowledge and comforted with love as you awaken to all that you are.